What's up, y'all? It's your boy Chris here, your one and only Data Bunny. So this quick video, I want to talk about having that backbone, right? That spine when being a network engineer. Okay, so let's just do a scenario that happened to me. End user comes in, hey, we're having TV issues. We've contacted, someone, right? And they told us to reboot our router, our Comcast router. Let's put it that way, right? So the first thing you need to do is to just ask the end user questions. Who told you to reboot the router? Who did you contact? Can you submit a ticket? Things like that. A lot of times end users will approach you with issues that may be different than what it really is. Not everyone knows everything, right? They will come in and they will say, hey, this isn't work. We did this. We tried, we contacted this. Okay, who did you contact? What exactly isn't working? Things like that. Luckily, this person actually reached out to the vendor and I was able to get that original email chain, and it ended up not being Comcast. It ended up being someone else he was contacting that actually manages equipment there, AV equipment that reaches out to some service, right, through a Cisco router. Let's just say that. So A, it wasn't a Comcast router, it was a Cisco router. And B, Comcast is not even involved in the situation. I'm talking with someone that is from a completely different service. And they said the same thing. He said, he was messaging in the chain. It's like, oh, well, it's something about Comcast. And the vendor's like, Comcast has nothing to do with the issue you're having. So it's an issue with the service that he uses for the TVs to get things, the picture quality right, the audio and visuals, video right, all of that. And also finding out that equipment is not even directly connected to our network. It's a completely separate network, has nothing to do with what I do or, what the actual organization manages. We don't manage that equipment. So the first thing, a couple of things, but one of the main things you want to do as a network engineer is to ask as many questions as you can. Sometimes end users may not know too much. Well, grab some information, who can you contact regarding this if they did contact someone, because they're not going to tell you everything. You're going to end up troubleshooting some stuff you have no business touching, and you're going to end up falling on your ass because you touched something and screwed something up and you don't even manage that equipment. Found out someone else manages it. I don't. It could be failed equipment. It could be anything. I would not have to touch any of that. The vendor will put a ticket in and have a technician come out for that. I don't have to touch anything. So, have your guardrails up, right? Always have boundaries. Yes, end users don't know everything, but, some have been here for 20 some years and they will still ask those questions because someone maybe in the department used to do that, and they would assume that IT or that department that you work in does it. But no, it's actually that equipment is actually managed by someone else. And if they're paying for that service, they should be contacting them. So don't be careful what you touch, especially as a network engineer, because you can touch anything in the network and end up screwing anything up. And then now it falls on you because you touched something without letting the vendor know that, hey, you were touching this. Not every equipment is going to have that sticker saying, oh, managed by this department, managed by this vendor or whatever. Not everyone's going to have that, especially if it's been equipment. Here's another thing. Ask, okay, when was that equipment, luckily he mentioned it before I could ask it, but it was something that was installed like 12 years ago. And, so it's like, yeah, come on now. So a lot of stuff, we went to the site. I observed it, saw the router there, saw the switch there, saw the AV equipment there, traced, there was 2 cables that the service provider wanted us to look at. They had no link lights. The service provider was unable to reach the router and any of the other equipment there. I traced the wires to the customer provider's edge, saw that, and then I was able to go outside and see that it's a different ISP. It's not even it's not Comcast. and B, it has nothing to do with our network. We're not even touching it. So again, I just want to repeat myself. Be very careful with what you touch as a network engineer. Be very careful. Get as much information as you can and try to find who manages that equipment. This is why I stress a lot on, when you first start a position, do as much research and as much discovery of that network, right, as much as possible, so you can get familiar with everything that's there. You're not going to be able to find everything, but if you can get the majority of stuff seen and you're able to discover a lot of things and study the network, when weird stuff pop up, you'd be like, we don't have a Comcast router at that location. There's no ISP at that location. That would send off a red flag. Okay, is it a Comcast? What router is it? Is it just some router someone just sat in the middle of, nowhere, right? Is it shadow IT? What is it? And that's how I went down the rabbit hole, finding out it's not even Comcast. Someone else found out the equipment was installed 12 years ago by the end user. And the end user kept mentioning Comcast and even mentioned it in the email chain. And even the vendor was like, no, we're not. This has nothing to do with Comcast. So again, just do your research, be very diligent with what you touch, and then keep your job, because that's one thing I want everyone to do, is to keep their job. Don't touch anything crazy. So again, just a quick video I wanted to talk about. And I hope you guys have a great day. See you later.